Making $250,000 with video editing. I will share this whole process of how I did it. Let me show with you my financial graphics and explain you where I was on each step. Alright, so now let me show you some interesting data here. Increased my revenue by $9,000. That's crazy. That was $9,000 that I wouldn't receive when we hit the 250K a year. This is something that I feel not many editors are gonna tell you. Making $250,000 with video editing. I'm sure a lot of video editors have achieved this goal. I achieved this goal throughout my video editing career, and I'm sure everybody had different paths to that goal. I will share with you a very detailed path and some analytics of my own journey for you to learn and eventually get to the same goal. And we start with no portfolio. Okay, so if you have no portfolio and you're trying to get clients, this is like the chicken and the egg problem, because you may be a good editor, but you can't prove it because you have no portfolio, and you don't have portfolio until you can try to prove it. So there's a couple things you can do. One, you can try to work, which I know it's not the best because you're not getting paid, but you are getting some portfolio. I've seen some editors do this, and it actually pay out for them. Not to mention, after the first video, they actually get a contract. But I also seen people not even get anything out of the first video. The second option is cheap work, which in my opinion is better because now the client is paying for something. He's paying very cheap. But if you get something good and cheap, you instantly love it. And this is actually the strategy that I use in the past, and I'm gonna go more detail into this. The other strategy is the sample work, which is sample work. You think that, for example, let's say you have your own YouTube channel and you edited your own YouTube channel. It's not really a client, but it's a sample work of your editing. In my opinion, this is the least effective. Because even if you do good work, a lot of clients, especially if you're looking for YouTube editing clients, they're looking for somebody that already worked with a big YouTuber. That's kind of like what they want to see on your portfolio. But let's go with the first step. How to get to 250K. What is the first thing that we need to start doing? We need to find the key to unlock that, or like the golden goose is what I like to call it. And what is that? Recurrent infinite work. This is basically a job that you can get unlimited amounts of time, or you can find as much of this work as possible, and it's recurring. It's not a client that comes one time and then never comes back. It has to be recurring. Every month he will come back. And who is these people? And what is that? What is recurring infinite work? It's people that make money with videos each month. For example, in my own journey, I went after YouTubers, which I know a lot of editors nowadays are doing that because it's very profitable. YouTubers are making money out of each video that they upload. If they get 100,000 views and their CPM is, let's say, $7 per thousand, they're getting $700 per video. If they're editing that video themselves and you show up and you're offering to do it for them at a couple hundred, and they keep getting that $700, it becomes profitable. And they may even increase the amount of videos they make because now they have an editor. So these guys right here are the best client to have as an editor nowadays. So how to get them? How do you get these clients? You need to find and dominate a niche. I am going to focus on YouTube, even though I experienced this in the past with wedding videos, for example. There's always a high demand of video editors for the wedding industry. And I actually met somebody that was making way over $500,000 with video editing for wedding videos. The demand was so high, and the price per wedding video is around, like, it used to be somewhere around $700. So it pays well. If you can figure out a way to edit this video fast, you can make a lot of money. But in this case, I'm gonna focus on YouTube because that's the path that I took, and I know a lot of you guys are taking that same path. So find and dominate a niche. If you want to go after the gaming niche, you can do that. If you want to go after the vlogging niche, you can do that. Or maybe it's a faceless niche. Whatever niche you want to go after, you have to kind of like understand it. You have to know who are the big players. Who is the people that everybody's trying to be like? Who is the people that everybody wants to copy the editing? Like, you may notice a lot of people try to copy Mr. Beast editing. But in different niche, there are dominant players that everybody's trying to imitate. So find that niche, identify, maybe you already know it because that's the content you consume. While you're trying to find that niche, you gotta take into consideration the niche has to have high demand for editors, the videos must be simple, and the most important thing they need to be generating a lot of views. So they need to be making money. That's the most important part. How do you know if they require editors? Well, you kind of have to look at the videos. If you're a good editor, you're going to know if they're editing the videos themselves. If you find a video that it doesn't have much editing and it could improve, it is likely that they either have an editor that is not too experienced or they're doing it themselves. These are the channels that need help. And the views, you have to make sure that they're generating views, because if they're not making much money, they're not gonna pay you well. Now, moving on, once you have that niche and you know the clients that you're going after, you have to identify the competition. And this is something that I feel not many editors are gonna tell you. But you need to try to figure it out who is editing these videos. Is it a company? Is it a person? And also, if you have the opportunity, figure out how much they're charging so you have an idea. I know that it's difficult nowadays because there's not public information, but you can do research in sites like YouTube Jobs. Maybe when you're negotiating with a client, you can ask as well. But if you come across that information, that is very important. But still, without that information, you can just offer a good deal on a video. And if the video is good, they're gonna love it. Okay, this is something important to keep in mind. Sometimes delivery time is more important for the creators than the price per video. So if you're a really fast editor and you can offer an unbeatable delivery time, because a lot of these guys may be getting a week delivery, 5 days delivery. If you can beat that, they may be even willing to pay more, because faster delivery means that they can upload more, and this is worth a lot for creators. Next, if your final product is better than their current product, meaning if the video that you give them is better than the video that they're making, and at this point you should know, because you gotta find the ones that you know you can do better. Or if they send you an example and you were able to get as close as possible to that example, and you did a really fast delivery time, you will most likely always get the client. This is something that always happens, because think about it. They're getting a faster delivery, they're getting a better deal, and they're getting a better video. If they already have an editor, they're most likely gonna swap to you. And if they don't have an editor and they were editing their videos themselves, they most likely are gonna give you the gig. At that point, you know you got them. And a recurring client like this can be significant. I will be sharing my financial graphs, and you will see how important it is to get these clients. Okay, this happens always. After landing a high caliber client in your niche, reach out to their network. Other creators who know them will trust you more, making it easier to offer your services at an even better price. This means you will see other creators in the same niche, and you may also notice that their videos are not as good. When they see the videos that you're creating, because they're trying to get video ideas, so they're gonna see their competitors often. They're gonna be familiar with your editing. They're gonna wish their videos look like yours. So when you send them an email saying that you're the editor of the guy that they're always trying to get ideas from, they're most likely gonna get you, because they just wanna have videos very similar to the guy that is getting all the views or getting views. And you can always offer a better price, because at this point right here, your portfolio is looking strong. Now you're not going after the cheap. Your portfolio is good. You proved your results. At this point, you have to find your max capacity. How many videos can you handle? Because if you made it here, you're already dominating the niche. You can get probably as many clients as you want if there's high demand and you already have a strong portfolio. So you need to find your max capacity. You need to know how many videos you can edit a month. Once you have that information, you have to simplify the process into a series of steps. Basically, like create a factory within your own service. Like, what do? You're editing the same kind of videos again and again. So you're gonna know exactly what is your process. Do you do music first? Do you do basic cut first? And you gotta basically create a system, a very detailed system. I will share this whole process of how I did it. So you're gonna get more information about each one of these steps. One of the final steps, outsource your work piece by piece. Here is when you have to start delegating work, because this is the only way that you're gonna grow. You're gonna get to your limit, and maybe at your limit, you're gonna be making a lot of money. You at that point, you may be already making 250K, but you're gonna have to outsource if you really wanna expand. And my advice is to go piece by piece. Again, I will share how I did it in the next graph. Okay, once you figure that out, you have to go beyond your max. And how do you go beyond your max? We have to go back to getting the other clients. Your portfolio is strong, and at that point, you can reach out to anybody and get the gig. And the only other thing to do is simplification and revenue increase. So what is that? Now that your portfolio is strong, you can monetize services like delivery time and charge a fee for faster delivery, along with increasing your base price and other revenue increasing techniques. So at this point, you can monetize the services that you're already being offering. For example, 24-hour delivery or any other time, 48-hour, 5-day, you can start charging a fee depending on how fast they want it. Remember how I told you that that's one of the most valuable things for them? Your flat fee can be the same, but you can charge for the delivery time, and this is gonna give you a lot of leverage. And at this point, when you're getting a new client, you can increase your base price because your portfolio is strong. If you started with cheap and you were charging a little low, even though for a period of time it's gonna be difficult, you can increase your base price with the new clients, or you can just increase your base price with everybody. I did this. I'll show you my results. Okay, so that was the path that you have to take to hit 250K, and that's the path I took. But I'll show you exactly the path I took when I started to making 250K and the whole process step by step. Let's go back to the chart, but this time with all my information. So first, we have the non-portfolio, right? At this point, I did have portfolio, but not for YouTube. I have portfolio for like TV shows, stuff like that. So I did have a strong portfolio, but it wasn't niche directed. And as we all know, if you work for somebody like Mr. Beast, you will probably get any YouTube gig out there. But if you work for any TV show, it may be harder to get a YouTube gig. I decided to go the cheap approach, and I was willing to offer a cheap price because we're starting. How did I get to 250K? You gotta find the recurring infinite work. What if that? The people that make videos each month. For me, it was YouTubers, specifically daily vloggers, people that uploads one video per day. This is people like a travel blogger, for example, that may be filming outside and they want to get to one video per day, but it's impossible for them to be editing the video because they're traveling. So they basically need somebody to edit. It's like a news station that needs videos all the time. There are a lot of people out there in YouTube that are doing this, and back in the day this was a lot more popular, especially with people like Casey Neistat that was doing daily vlogs, and it's great for your channel. So a lot of people was doing this, and I decided to go right after them because they will provide me at least 30 videos a month. So the first step, identify the competition pricing and offer a better price. Okay, so what happened? After getting my first client, I was told my competitors are charging from $200 to $500 to other creators. They knew this because they've been looking for editors, and I happen to know that information now. So they said 200 to 500, which he mentioned 500 seems like a lot for this kind of videos. My client only had 150K subs at the time, so he wasn't like a big YouTuber, and his budget per video was low, around $75 per video, but was friends with many other bigger YouTubers. This is important because it can build your network if you do a good job. So $75 per video. A lot of editors are like, I will never take this job, but goes back to the portfolio phase, right? You need to build a portfolio, and if you go the cheap route, that's what you charge. And I'll show you how to go through that route all the way up. So I mentioned this all the time. The delivery time is very valuable for them. This was a daily blogger. They're looking to upload daily. That's the fastest way to grow your channel, at least back in the day. They were looking for somebody that can deliver videos at least 24 hours. I was offering a 24-hour delivery, which was a huge deal for a daily blogger. Now they can film, upload, and when they wake up, their video is live. They were gonna make life easier because before this, they were editing the videos themselves, and I believe they hired an editor that was super expensive. This was like the dream for these people, and they were already making a profit. So if you find their product is better than their current product, they will always stay with you. Well, of course, they stayed right away because my videos were better than what the competition was doing. And in this particular niche, it wasn't that difficult to achieve this, but there was not a lot of people editing for this niche. So after landing the high caliber client, you start getting other clients. Well, what happened to me? At some point, they mentioned my services to their friends. I also sent cold emails to many other creators in the same niche mentioning I edited for them. Now I have a good portfolio. They get to see that I edit for these guys that they're getting ideas from, that they have talked to, and they see this crazy delivery time, how it helped their channel, and they immediately are interested because you're going after the specific target audience, which is the same people making the exact same kind of video. This takes you, at that point, you can choose how much money you made, and it's based on how much you can work. So you can find your max capacity. Since all the videos in the niche are similar and everybody wants to be like the top YouTuber in the niche, it is easy to know what is your max. What this means is all the videos that you're making are kind of gonna be similar when you're sticking to a niche. If you're doing gaming videos, you're gonna be doing a very similar editing again and again. So you're gonna have an average of how long it takes you to complete a video, and you can predict what your max is. Simplify the process into a series of steps. So what did I do? Okay, so I did a lot of things. I created a vast music library with specific meta tags based on scenes and moments that happen often. I also created a vast sound effect library. So I knew that a lot of these sound effects were going to be used, so I was creating a library, which a lot of editors do, and also the music with specific scenes that were recurring. Because obviously, if you're making travel blog videos, you're going to know what songs are good for a montage, what songs are good for a restaurant. So if you create a very specific library, it is easier for you to edit the videos faster. I created pre-made transitions and effects that were often used to speed up the process. So basically what I did here is what many editors do. You create, if you use a transition a lot, make it super easy to copy and paste. There's a reason why I'm doing this, not only for me to edit faster. I created advanced macros that facilitate the editing process drastically. This is huge and a lot of editors take advantage of it. If your editing has a lot of repetitive steps, you may be able to macro a whole step. A lot of people that was editing podcasts were able to do this, and some people were even making plugins offering the service, like the ones that change from the person speaking to the other person speaking. That simplify their process drastically, and even though they have to go over the video again, it makes it way easier for them to edit, allowing them to get more work. I personally created macros that adapted to my editing and the things that I was doing. That's why this whole process is very specific to what videos you're editing and what kind of clients you have. I separated the editing process into steps. This is very important. Basic cut, music and sound effects, and review. I will do the basic cut, then the music and sound effects, and then review. A lot of people separate it in different steps. You will have your own, but you need to have separate steps that you can do by itself. After doing all that, you gotta go to the next step, which is outsourcing your work piece by piece. This is the only way that you can go to the next level. And what did I do? I hired a not so advanced editor that can just replicate my style. Since there are so many macros, libraries, and presets, he can learn easily how to edit the video. I started by giving him either step 1 or 2, and I also do step 3 with some videos. Eventually, he was able to do all steps by himself. So instead of learning how to edit the whole video, you learn how to copy the style of like the music and the sound effects, or the basic cut, which is just editing the video without music. So depending on the editor, I will teach them either step 1 or step 2, and then eventually they learn the 3 steps. That, in my opinion, is the best way to outsource. And I can make a whole video explaining how to do this, but in this video, I'm only gonna tap into it for a little bit. And the final step, go beyond your max. Again, we go beyond our max, simplification, and revenue increase. At this point, I created many macros and simplified every aspect of the editing. This not only makes editing faster, but makes any editor faster when they work for me. This is huge. This goes hand to hand with the outsourcing. That's why I had so many macros and so many steps that for an editor that joined my team, they only have to drag and drop something or click one button. So it is way easier for them to edit videos that were more complicated, and they can replicate my style without having to learn everything. Alright, so now let me show you some interesting data here. This was after I was editing for a while. At this point, I had so many macros and presets that I was able to edit these videos fast. And as you can see here, I was keeping track of the raw footage, the timing that took the editing, and that was 1 hour and 30 minutes for me to complete this video. This was fast, guys. And it has to do a lot with like shortcuts and super advanced macros, but I can do a video and show you guys. But as you can see here, I was averaging this amount. This right here was my other editor that I hired. I will make him do steps, and as you can see, this video took 2 hours and 31. This one took 1 hour, and this one took 1 hour and 58. So you can kind of like average what our max would be. I gather a lot of information like this. This is just an example, and this was towards the beginning, but at this point we were already getting a lot of videos. So the average time per video for me was 1 hour and 23, for him was 2 hours, and combined was 149. So you can say that it was taking us around 2 hours per video. Now, because our portfolio was strong at that moment, we can start charging for things like delivery time, and we can also increase our base price because we had many clients at this point. I made 24-hour service an extra fee, and a 48-hour service the regular fee. I also increased my base fee, which made some clients leave, but in general made more money. Yeah, some clients are gonna go. They may be with you because they wanted that $75 cheap, right? And when you actually start charging what you should, they just leave. Also, if you've been doing a good job and they already had good channels, they're probably making more money now. So they're gonna be able to afford more. And they're gonna be hooked on the 24-hour service, so they're willing to pay anything for it. And if they don't, they can just get it on less time. And this can adjust. This can be 5 days, 4 days, whatever you were offering from the beginning. Like I said, I was going after daily bloggers, so it's a little different. Increase cash flow and improve revenue. Okay, here I have to mention macroEdits, which is my site. You can go and sign up for a free account. But at the beginning, it was a site that I made for myself. Here I started implementing new tools to macroEdits that increase my revenue. For example, something as simple as the tip tool. I remember increased my revenue by $9,000. That's crazy. That was $9,000 that I wouldn't receive. A lot of these YouTubers had successful videos, and they will be happy to tip or give you more money if they just had the choice. The way we do it with macroEdits is very simple. Basically, like the same way Uber Eats allows you to tip your driver. A lot more advanced things happen, like gamification, things that increase the cash flow so you can get the money faster, but I can make a whole video about it, or you can join my school account and I can explain you one-on-one. Now, let me show with you my financial graphics and explain you where I was on each step. As you can see here, when I first started, I believe this was 2019. We have $900 a month, which is one client. He was giving me 9 videos. Then 1,300 and 1,295. What happens at this moment? 3 months, February, March, and April. I started to reach out to other creators. Why? Because as you can see, this number right here is how many videos I edited. I have a big portfolio of the last videos, and they actually gain more subscribers and more views because they're daily bloggers. I believe somewhere in this point, I got the second client, which now puts me at like $3,000 a month. It's a more decent salary. At this point on July, I got my third client. And I can remember exactly how many clients I had because some of these clients will upload 2 videos a week and others will be daily. But I was getting the clients. As you can see, there's a big jump here to 5,000, 6,000, 8,000. And at this mark, at the $12,000 a month, by this point, I was dominating the niche, which means I was able to get a lot more clients if I wanted. I just have to send emails and show my portfolio because I had a really good portfolio. I was hitting 152 videos at that point. This whole phase right here is when I realized this is not sustainable. We need to simplify the process, and we work really hard to create macros and advanced tools that, as you can see in the previous graph, reduce the amount of work to almost 1 hour per video or so. That was a very important stage, and we were making over 10K a month every month. If we move down to December, right here, we hit the 250K a year, which is around 20 something. And from this point on, we increased revenue, and we also did a lot of things to improve cash flow that I can make a video. But the 250K yearly mark for me was right here. And by this point, I believe I had one editor working with me. Eventually I got another one, but I can talk about that later. Since I've been editing for so long, I just wanted to share my path, and I know a lot of you guys want to know how to get to 250K to 10K a month, whatever you want. If you still have more questions, join my school account, go in the description and hit the link. I'll be happy to guide you, teach you, coach you, or answer any questions you have about editing. I've been editing for 12 years, so I have a lot of experience in the industry. If you want more videos like this, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.